For the post-millennial, wanted posters calling for violence against health insurance CEOs spotted in New York. There's a quote, Brian Thompson was denied his claim to life. Who will be denied next? Look at this. This is crazy. TikToker, the barbecue lady, shared a video this week showing wanted posters for health insurance CEOs plastered all over Manhattan. They say deny, defend, depose. When the rich rob the poor, it's called business. When the poor fight back, it's called violence. Says the poster for murdered healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. A suspect in Thompson's murder was arrested, this we know. The poster shows his photo with a red X through it. It blames Thompson, not his killer, for his death and issues threats to other executives with Optum Health and United Healthcare. These posters are a direct call for violence against executives in the health insurance industry. Here's a question. Do you think if someone was caught putting these up, they could be arrested and charged?
Not in New York.
Not I.
I'm not asking about New York. I'm saying under the law, is this a violation of the law?
Do they call for death in there?
Yeah, what do they say on if
they call for death? Then I think so, because
that's the question.
It's not. This is an actual threat. Then it's not. If they're calling for them, if they say execute this person who lives at this address, then yes, I think that they can.
It looks like they're mock wanted photos.
Yeah, I understand that, but what's the language in it? Yeah.
If someone's putting up a flyer that says "do a thing to a person," it's a question of, is that crossing the line into illegality?
I think if it says them specifically what you want to do, if it says harm this person, you can't make physical threats to somebody. You could sit there and say they're terrible people.
Yes.
But
This
you can't say.
This is the challenge. What if it says, here's a picture of a CEO, you know what must be done, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Literally, it's the text says that. Is that a threat of violence? Because we know what they're saying.
I failed at a art school. I didn't go to law school, so I don't really know.
Wait,
but I have no idea what if that's. I don't know. I think that I don't know. It depends on what it's. Does it say what it's exactly saying? Deny? No, I don't. I don't think that.
I'm speaking like the point I'm bringing up is, obviously, if someone puts up a poster that says you should go do thing that is criminal,
right? That's
criminal. I'm saying if someone uses veiled language that we know what the intention is, but they didn't literally say it, do we just say,
well, we saw that in all the Gaza protests. They said veiled language, but it was legal because we have a First Amendment in this country. You can say something as long as you're not actually threatening somebody. I think that there was. I think if this is veiled language, it's
depends
legal.
on if
they're going to start going out chanting, "Oh, won't someone rid me of this priest?"
Yeah, but I mean, it depends on the question you're asking. Are you asking is or ought? So should it be illegal? Maybe. Is it illegal?
Great point.
Probably not.
You know the story of won't someone rid me of
Yes.
this priest?
I don't.
The king was frustrated with the priest. He was like, "Oh, won't someone rid me of this priest, this meddlesome priest?" And then two knights were like, "Okay," and they went and killed him. And he was like, "I didn't tell you to do this."
Where was this country? Is it for real?
Britain, I think. Let me pull it up.
Okay. It sounds like a British thing to do.
It does.
I don't think that this. I don't read the poster, and I didn't go to law school.
Turbulent priest. It was Henry II of England. Preceding the death of Thomas Becket. He was frustrated and annoyed by him and said, well,
Becket never shut up, so I can see that.
Yeah.
I think that I don't think that this is illegal from what I see. But I'm not a lawyer, but it's definitely a threat there. And I'm sure if you were a CEO, you'd probably be moving to a gated community and not seeing yourself publicly.
What you're saying is a civil war is coming?
No. Didn't say that at all.
And their fight back is like,
America is so fat we cannot have a civil war. We can barely walk to the corner. So like it would be a rolling electronic civil war. We're all on like those things you see at Walmart and Disney World. That would be like the army instead of tanks.
like that robot animation.
Yeah.
Just the morbidly obese of both
just
factions.
obese people just trying to, roll towards each other.
Sir, we need more rascals for the front line.
Forget about rising again. They can't rise, period. It's just, no. It's no, I don't think that this is
like, what do you think happens with this like wave of? Is this a flash in the pan that people forget about come January?
Well, look, you were at the Occupy Wall Street stuff. How long did that last for?
Well, not only that.
4 months. And then by like February, the protests were a tenth of their size, and then
everyone moves on. Listen,
I know I don't think that it's everyone moving on. This kind of stuff, this sentiment is built on Occupy. It's built on
that's true too. It's the same people involved.
Okay, but true question. If Luigi was not good looking, would anyone care?
Oh, good question.
I do think so.
They don't care about the crime as much as they care about the person because he's handsome. John Bonet, they didn't care much about the crime. They cared about the victim.
I don't know, man. George Floyd was not that pretty. And that still set up a bunch of
but Chauvin.
He was like,
But I understand what you're saying there. That the charisma of the actual shooter might have something to say.
Big difference,
But I have felt like, and I continue to make the argument regularly, that there is a sentiment in the U.S. that is illiberal. We have a big communist problem in the U.S. and there are people that are essentially making, class dynamic arguments or class conflict arguments. This is totally about class dynamics.
That's 100% true. His case is very strange. I was talking on the way here. It's strange because
He might be the guy.
You don't think so?
But even
his lawyer said they've so far been presented no evidence that he's actually the guy who there's no evidence tying him to New York. I'm not saying I believe that's true. The lawyer could be just saying that for obvious reasons, but also the police reported that this guy wasn't even on their radar or list when he was actually apprehended.
Why did he have to show an ID at a McDonald's?
no, they called the cops. They called the cops on him, and the cops came in. Show me your ID.
McDonald's. So the cops asked.
Yeah,
him,
like,
okay,
who are
it
you?
wasn't
Show
a
me your
McDonald's
ID.
worker. Okay, so someone told me.
But why?
I have a second cousin who looks just like him. Yeah, I don't know. All Italians from Southern Italy look like semi-related to that guy. I think that here's what's weird. He was from a super wealthy family, right? I don't think he was denied any services. That's the whole argument. Like, he was denied a service, therefore he became a vigilante. I never have heard of him being denied a service.
I heard that he got back surgery that is notoriously ineffective. Like, you get it and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. And his didn't work out, and so he blames the
insurance company.
You know that he's an incel, right?
He can't have sex, which also makes no sense because he's so built, he's so jacked. How can you lift weights and not have sex?
That's why I think it's
Let her get on top. It's not that much work. I mean, seriously, that doesn't make any sense. A lot of things in his narrative don't make sense.
Someone reported, so it's like a guy who knows him says that his back pain was so bad that he couldn't be intimate.
I read that was like a roommate or something.
I'm just
like
clarifying for the audience.
No, I mean, I get it, but like at the same time, a lot of things in the whole story just are very strange.
It could be really simple. Like, the thing about incels is that there was some interview a while ago with a guy who was an incel, and he was an average-looking guy, and he was like, "It's just impossible for us to be intimate with women, blah blah blah." And the response from most people in the comments was like, "What are you talking about? This is like a normal guy. The issue is social and in his mind. It's possible he's ripped, but still completely incapable of talking to women."
Listen, possibly he's very handsome. He went to an Ivy League school, rich family. I'm
dumb as a box of rocks, though.
Possibly.
Did you read his manifesto?
I mean, there was a lot of spelling
That dude
errors.
is dumb.
Yeah,
a lot of spelling errors.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of spelling errors, and I also read some of his book reviews. I also saw his Spotify playlist. That was strange as shit. It was like Charlie XCX, Taylor Swift, and Lana Del Rey. Who kills someone after listening to Taylor Swift? I mean, yes, but no, not out of aggression or you're listening to Taylor Swift. It's like you're, energized by a Taylor Swift song.
To Tim's point, though, and actually this is something that Matty Iglesias tweeted yesterday. Like, there were big dumb things in his manifesto. So he's talking about the market cap list, which is totally wrong. He ignores the role of homicide, suicide, drug overdose, and car wrecks in life expectancy.
Obesity.
So he's saying that life expectancy is something that the health insurance company or health insurance industry should have an effect on, and that's totally misaligned. Overstating the role of insurer profit in the U.S. to health spending.
And then Ro Khanna repeated all the bad facts about how much. Yeah, I mean, he's in Congress talking about.
So the guy was an idiot.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of things completely and totally wrong. Also, life expectancy is back up again, and obesity is down. Health-wise, under Biden's presidency, actually things have started getting a little better. But not to his credit, it just so happened.
And not to him.
Not to him. No. Oh, sorry, Joe. But yes, I don't think that he was a philosopher king. Also, wait, he has such bad back problems. He's being shoved by the cops and fighting against them. You can't have sex, but you can go with your arms tied behind your back and start shoving at cops.
The incel thing may have been just to deride him.
I don't think that that's real. I'm sorry. I just don't believe it.
And the being rich and wealthy makes no sense. In the aspect of BLM, a lot of folks, it's people in New York who were caught throwing Molotov cocktails at the cops.
Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being wealth doesn't play an aspect.
No, I didn't say wealth to being a socialist.
You said it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense that he couldn't have sex and be wealthy. That's easy to buy. I mean, if you're that wealthy.
Well.
But the most like radicals usually do tend to come from higher income families. The poor are not the ones. Well, after your 12-hour
Busy
shift
working. Yeah.
after your 12-hour shift at Walmart, you're not going like, you know what I need to do right now? Get a Molotov cocktail. You're kind of exhausted. But most of these people are from wealthy people. I believe the radicalization going to happen. I believe that he could have printed a ghost gun. He was such a smart engineer, and maybe his political takes were all bullshit. But this was there's a lot of things that were very, very strange about the case.
I want to ask.
I agree that it's strange.
Yeah.
I just want to ask about the silencer, right? Wasn't there silencer in the video? So we didn't find that. I haven't seen any reports that they found a silencer as well. They found a gun. Or no?
The
photos I seen was just a gun in magazine.
But didn't they say that they had the silencer?
Not that I've read yet.
Can I just
tried to look it up a little bit, but I haven't seen it.
One other thing.
be
We
wrong,
know
of course.
more about him than the Trump shooter, the Las Vegas shooter, almost every other shooter. And I think it's because partially people are interested in him because he's good looking. I don't think that they cared. I think that has driven a lot of attention in this case where, I wasn't alive during Ted Bundy. No, I think that's well, listen, I look like a fat Jew, so it doesn't matter to me. But I think that this is probably what is projected a lot of interest in this case. I don't really think there's going to be like a bunch of vigilantes now being like, you know what, I'm going to do the next Luigi. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know I don't know. I think that I probably agree with you. There's not going to be a bunch of vigilantes, but I do still stand by the argument that there is a significant upswing, and there has been for the past 10 or so years, maybe longer, of essentially Marxist power dynamics that people believe. If you are an oppressed person, or if you can style yourself oppressed, and we see it with the way that people have been lying about being minorities or whatever they lie about, about I'm some oppressed group, because that is social currency now. If you are oppressed, then you are,
or it's not even if you
currency.
are oppressed, if you're fighting for the oppressed.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is, this guy's not oppressed. Like, he's not oppressed, but he's fighting for the oppressed, which makes him, an ally, or whatever the hell they call it.
And that dynamic, that essentially, that again, Marxist power dynamic, is something that is really, really prevalent probably in Gen Z, and maybe some younger millennials probably too. I mean, and it's a poison.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it lives on the internet, where the people's brains go to to fry. I think there is mental illness is really being driven on the internet big time.
I was talking to a buddy of mine who was recently in New York, and he was concerned that the people who follow, the liberal center of New York, would have a negative reaction to his presence because of his online persona. And he found completely none of it. And people were happy to meet him, and they were fans. And I was just like, there's two things to understand. The internet is not real life, but the internet deeply influences the institutions of real life, like how ads are bought and what people are willing to say or not to say. So what I find is 99.9% of the people I meet are going to be fans. They're going to agree largely on most of these issues. They're going to say abortion to the point of birth. That's crazy. But maybe they're more moderate on abortion issues. But then the problem is, with the internet and with wokeness, up until obviously the sweep this November, advertisers and individuals are scared to speak out against what they perceive to be the dominant culture.
Right. No, that's true. That's 100% true. People only look at financial retaliation in I saw this on like a Instagram thing, so maybe it's not true, but didn't a lot of the View ladies just recently lose endorsement deals or whatever because of how hatred? Look at MSNBC. I know that for a fact. Yeah, that's what I read. There were a few of them that lost movie deals or whatever. Could be wrong, but look at MSNBC. It's being sold for scraps. CNN, the Food Channel. I mean, they are all, because it's so vitriolically hated. There's so much hatred rather coming from them. That I think that hatred towards conservatives from them, that I think that people are kind of tired of.
Look, man, you see Gwen Stefani, she recently did a commercial. What was it, for Hello?
Yeah, for Hello. Yeah, for the Catholic thing.
Yeah, a lot of people were like...
But she's always been openly Catholic, but she don't pay no attention. Yeah.
But to see a celebrity from her position, like Mark Wahlberg, we get. Mark Wahlberg has been deeply religious for a long time, and people know that. But then and you mentioned that, but people are feeling like that, along with the Apple commercial and the Volvo commercial, that
That was insane.
a major shift is towards the right, and
It's not
traditional-
walking on minefields anymore. And that's like the thing that I noticed about, I wrote this whole long piece for the American Conservative magazine about the 2024 election. And part of it is like when Trump went to UFC fights and celebrities were fighting for selfies with him. I think that was a major cultural turning point where people were like, oh, it's not bad anymore. I could say this out loud and it's not going to be scary or cancelable or whatever. And I think that was, I think that's a big part of it for sure.
Kind of crazy how it all changed.
It changed fast because BLM was insane. It was BLM was so nutty. You ever like go through a traumatic experience and then after it's over, you're like, or you take care of someone who's very sick and then they die, and then after it's over, you're like, that was insane that I lived like that, because that was nuts. This is kind of like what we're having afterwards. When I was on CNN one time with what's his face? Van Jones. No, not that one. Van Jones. Van Jones. Van Jones goes, yeah, my party was really crazy in 2020. I go, but why? It was crazy because of BLM. And you sat there and said all the criminals need to go free. And we could burn down buildings. And everything was okay. And you co-signed criminality. And for a lot of, minorities who are, not lawbreakers and who want to own a store or whatever it is, they were like, I'm not really down with this. I'm not really going to be this party.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.